There we go.
Okay. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Up Close and Personal Trainer podcast. I am Emma.
And I am Shona. Hello and welcome. How are we?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Given the current circumstances of what's going on right now, I do think that it's something that we should discuss. Obviously, this is a comedy podcast, but it's also a topical podcast. We talk about like what's going on in the news, what's going on in current events, and I just think that me and you should address the murder of George Floyd just now, don't you?
Yes, I do. And as it's Blackout Tuesday, I guess that's even more relevant. And actually, what we probably know more about, or what we were talking about today from our own experiences, is, I guess, like what happens in Scotland. We were talking about how, actually there aren't that many Black people in Scotland. Like, I don't see a lot of Black people here. Do you?
Well, I grew up in Ayrshire, and my school was not only like pretty much 100% white, it was also like 100% Protestant. So we didn't get really any diversity. I didn't have any diversity at all until I moved to Glasgow. And I moved to Glasgow like when I was 18 years old. So I was purely completely ignorant, and that was just due to where I grew up. And I don't know, is it the same in Dundee?
Yeah, or like I went to school in St Andrews, and I think there was maybe 2 Black people in the whole school, and it was like a really big school. So I guess that is that a problem, not being exposed to other cultures?
Yeah,
because I don't know, like I don't feel like it's affected you. You're very open-minded, but then the other people you went to school with, do you think they have that same?
I mean, I'm open-minded because then I moved out of that small town and moved to a big city, and did some traveling, did some reading, learned, opened my mind. But I think you could, like, there's people that I went to school with that still live in that tiny town, and they're just surrounded by the people that they grew up with, and they probably don't have that same worldview. And I think that traveling, going to different places definitely opens the mind. And I think that's why a lot of Americans are really racist, because they just stay in America. They don't travel outside. Like a lot of people, I can't remember the percentage of people that don't own passports.
Really?
Because they just don't travel. Like maybe they travel within different states in America, but they don't actually leave. So that probably gives them this idea that America and being white is like the center of the world.
It is an amazing thing that's happening. Like I feel like we're living in history through this, and obviously through coronavirus as well, but you do feel quite, within Scotland anyway, quite disconnected from it. And I guess like this like whole movement, is it a movement, would you call it that, or like this present?
Yeah, I would say it's a movement, but then I don't really know what that like attaches to it.
I don't know. Let me.
But yeah, like you're right. You do feel quite disconnected. However, that's not an excuse not to be aware and educate yourself on it. So something that I've been doing recently is, and I'm quite ashamed to say that it is only recently and because of current events, is that I'm trying to educate myself as much as possible on white privilege, on systemic racism, and as I said, I'm disappointed that it's taken it until now to do it. But I suppose, as you said earlier, the best time to start is now. I
actually said the best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time is now. But it's so true, and I think that it's a brilliant thing that will hopefully be happening with a lot of people at the moment, if it opens our eyes to it. Because I think there was that, I guess the opposite of that, or more like people like, oh, all lives matter, which isn't what's important at the moment. And I saw, like, for people to understand that, I saw a really, like, spot on meme, and it was like someone going to the doctor with a broken arm, and then the doctor saying, okay, but all bones matter, and putting the cast on his leg. Like, that's quite a good analogy. I was like, okay, yeah, like, if people are struggling to understand, like, what the difference is there, that is quite a good way to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the people that say, but all lives matter, they tend to talk like that. Let's just be hashtag all lives matter.
When I see it, that's how I hear it in my head.
Shut up, Becky. Shut up, Becky. It's not about you right now. No one gives a fuck what you think. So I heard another analogy that is really dark. It was Russell Kane, the comedian. He's my favourite comedian ever. And he's like, if someone started a campaign like about sex offenders, and it was like hashtag children's lives matter, and then if people were like, but what about the pedos? Pedos' lives matter too. And I was like, that's
okay, yeah. That's quite a good one as well.
Are you doing the same? Are you like reading up on these things? Like, how do you feel about it?
I've definitely been following the news, which I had stopped. Like, I normally read the news, but I'd stopped doing for a while because I didn't feel like much was changing in regards to coronavirus, and then it was just all about that. But I have been reading up on the news, and I am now about to delve back into that book that we were talking about.
So the book that we're talking about is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race, and it's by, you've got the book in front of you. Is it by?
I can't see that far. I don't know. Right, we'll put it in the show notes.
Put it in the show notes. And the other book that I'm currently reading right now is Me and White Supremacy, or White Supremacy and Me, and that's by Layla Saad. So everyone listening.
And would you say that one is good as well?
That one's really good because how it works is you like it was actually, she initially wrote it as like as a challenge on Instagram, so you like did it along with her, and you have to journal while you're doing it. So as each chapter comes up, you journal, and it gets you to really look internally at, like, because it's for people like me and you, white girls and boys, who would identify themselves like, I'm not racist, but then you have to like look deep inside the way you were raised, the culture that you're raised in, white privilege, etc. So I feel like you get a real education from that book. So I would recommend it.
Yeah. I like that, and I think I like that the sort of tide to changing on, like, oh, I'm not racist, so it's fine if I just stay quiet.
Yeah, I know.
Just the fact that by not talking, like, you're allowing these things to happen.
Yep. Silence is violence.
Yep. Okay, well, are you happy that we've covered that now?
I'm really happy. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, me too. Okay, so now we'll start the podcast because we didn't want that bit to be funny, honestly.
I'm really glad we didn't make that bit funny. Okay, so here you are. Welcome to the Up Close and Personal Trainer podcast with me, Shona Denman, and of course, Emma.
Me?
Sorry.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, ruined it. Sorry. Okay. Well. What has been happening this week?
So, I have a whole bunch of deal breakers for you.
Oh, actually, I have a question about boobs, right?
Yeah.
Boobs, right? You know what I'm talking about? Boobs. Okay.
I know. I've got a pair, but like they're quite small. But
I have heard of them before. Okay, so my question is, boob cleavage, like in a photo, boob cleavage, fine. Under boob, dubious, like, is that okay? And then nipple porn, like, you can't, do you know, like, where is the line?
Right, okay, so this is something that I've actually been discussing as well, funnily enough, Emma, and I think I maybe
you're feeling your boobs at the moment. I
forgot that I was recording. I'm like this.
This is something that I've been thinking about.
Where the focus goes, the energy flows. Right, so I was watching this program It was like that stupid thing. We talked about it a while ago, and it was like the one where they had to like abstain from sex. It was on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Every single girl who wore a bikini had the under boob out. Like every single bikini like sat and ended like just below the nipples, so there was like under boob cleavage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And first thing that struck me was that must be really uncomfortable, because you must feel like the instinct is to pull it down.
And also, like, it would have to be quite, because, you know, a bra just fits, like, quite nicely under.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be really tight, no? To stay in place.
Yeah, it must do. It really must do, yeah. And that's why I sent you a picture of me trying it, and it was the least flattering thing ever. I sent you a picture. It was the
like
least.
A little pancake coming out the bottom.
It was like, it wasn't even like a pancake, it was like a flap of skin.
Crepe.
A crepe, complete with the little holes.
Okay, the other thing that I have researched this week for the podcast. Someone said that our podcasts are getting more informative, which is lovely.
Well,
because we're doing like more legit studies and research on this. Okay, so I sent you this tonight. I don't know if other people have heard about this, but there is like a bit of a myth around sex and performance. Like, I know a lot of athletes won't have sex before they run in a certain event or something like that. They like abstain beforehand. So I thought, well, I would do a little bit of research and see if that is true. And so I found a review, and it says, the present evidence suggests that sexual activity the day before competition does not exert any negative impact on performance. And then it finishes with, randomized control studies are urgently needed.
Yeah, you sent that to me, and I was like, I will donate my body for science. Yeah. I will be that guy. So I found that article on PubMed. I found it, I'm reading it. And I wanted to tell you, so when Paul and I started seeing each other, he had a personal trainer who you know, and we'll leave it there, right? And I didn't. So bear in mind, this is like 9 years ago. Paul and I were both very young, like in our early 20s. And Paul had a PT session that day, and Paul wouldn't let me come near him because his PT had said that he wasn't allowed to do it before his session because he wouldn't be as strong.
Wow. Think you need to send the PT that.
I think I need to send him that study. And then I put it on my Instagram story this morning. I was like, does any competitive athletes have any thoughts on this? And I'd got a couple of responses. I think they might be up close and personal fans. Someone wrote, used to see a bodybuilder and he wouldn't come before leg day because he wouldn't get a pump.
Oh, for God's sake.
So you forgo the pump to get the pump.
And in response to that, I will say I looked deeper into this, and in both men and women, testosterone levels are higher and at their highest after intercourse.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, it says in the study as well that your systolic blood pressure is lower. So, I mean, it's literally good for your health. I mean, if you're the sort of person who gets nervous before performing, not before sex, gets nervous before the sport, then it would make sense to
calm you.
Because it would calm you, you'd feel relaxed. I think it's a bit, do you know, I honestly, because it's what do you call it? Superstition, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's an old wives' tale.
An old athletic wives' tale.
I have to read out the findings of the study because you'll see what I mean so this is a 2017 study in rats. Researchers found that the number of estrogen receptors was higher 24 hours after ejaculation or mating to sexual satiety. Have you ever heard of it? Have you swallowed?
Satiety. Is that how you say it? Satiety?
Yeah, it's sexual satiety. You know, like when you're
Yeah.
eating and then you're satiated.
Satiate. Like personal trainers love that word. Satiated. Yeah.
Satiated.
I never knew how to say it, so I just didn't say it. I would just say full.
Are you full?
I feel.
But satiated has different connotations to me. It's like not just full, but like content that I have finished my, you know, maybe that is a good word to describe the feeling after. I am very satiated. Thank you for that experience.
Who was that for you? It was satiating.
Yeah, I think that would be an achievement.
Yeah. I also think, like, okay, so going back to what I was saying before you tried to interrupt me, bitch.
Sorry.
Is I think it's a bit sexist because it's always like men pushing women away, being like, no, my penis and balls are involved in this sport. Like, I need them to be like untouched. Go away, get away from me, woman, you distraction. Because you never hear like a woman saying that she's not going to have sex before she plays sport. It's always fucking men.
I don't know. I think that some women might, if they think it will help them.
I don't think it's not like, because I think the idea that men feel like they're giving something away, there's like that release, like, you know, physical, like they're like, I am giving you my seed, you have stolen my seed, and now I can't perform at football. I will not be able to score a goal now.
Why have they turned into little Mexicans?
Whereas like women, it's like, I'd say like it's empowering, isn't it? It's like, yeah, right, okay, now I'm ready, I'm relaxed, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling sexy, let's score a goal. Back of the net.
Oh, okay, that reminds me of something I wanted to discuss, which is the most disgusting way of describing sex.
Right, let's hear it.
And I've only ever heard it in Scotland, and it actually cringes me out even to say it. I don't know if I can say it.
Right, cover your eyes and then say it.
Oh, you might have to. Right, can you guess what it is?
Nah. No, I can't.
Nah.
Nah.
I don't think I can say it right. Okay, it's getting my hole. Have you heard that?
Of course I have. I live in Glasgow.
Well, that's what I mean. It's Scottish people that say it, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Getting my hole.
This disgusting thing.
Do you think most of our listener base is Scottish, or do you think we've got international
well,
listeners?
Hopefully not, because I've just offended them all. Probably 50-50.
International.
Maybe, I don't know.
Any international listeners, can you please write in and tell us where you're from if you're listening from anywhere outside of the UK? Thank you. Yeah, I think like it's getting my whole. Yeah, it's.
Do you know
like,
what in Dundee? I don't know if they say it in Glasgow as well, but if you like have taken someone or you're taking someone up the road, that means like you're taking them home to sleep with them. I had no idea what that meant for so long. Like my mates would be like, "Oh yeah, went up the road with so and so," and I'd be like, "Oh cool." Like, what road are they talking about? I don't know. I was just thought because Dundee's on a bit of a hill, so I was like, oh, yeah.
I would think that just means they were taking them home, giving them a lift.
Yeah. Well, how naive of me.
I'm really good at accents, but the only one that I don't know and I can't do is Dundee. Can you do a Dundonian accent?
It's basically just a lot of eh.
Eh?
They say eh all the time.
Right.
Always.
Like as a question, like eh?
Just like during the sentence as well. It's really strange.
Like like you know how you hate going like you hate
No,
that?
it's more like like if someone would like eh also means yeah, I think. So it'd be like, Ken, what I'm saying eh? And they'd be like eh.
Oh, right, okay.
I think that's what's going on. But no, I can't really do the accent.
Right, would you like a deal breaker?
Not the prettiest. Yes, I would love a deal breaker.
Okay. Right. So what I've got for you just now is some deal breakers, and I've also got some would you date this professions.
Okay, let's see how many more people we can offend.
It's okay, these are pretty niche. I can't imagine that any of these
Nicher than a candle maker.
listen to us. Right. Are you ready? Okay, so
Yes.
number one, you have been seeing her for a long time, and obviously like you really suffer with like your back pain, and she's like really really empathetic towards you. And one time like she's like, Emma, I was wondering if I could like do something for your back. And you're like, well, you're obviously at the stage where you've tried so many things, like you've gone to the doctor, you've gone to the chiropractor, the osteopath. You're like, yeah, okay, let's try it. So she's like, right, Emma, could you lie face down? So she gets you to lie face down, and then she like pulls out this pot. It's like a little jam jar she's brought from her bag, and she opens it, and it's like, it's really stinking, right? Anyway, she starts to like spread it across your back. And then you're like, what's in that? And she's like, I've made a potion. It's like a special potion, and like I swear by it for any back pain. And you're like, what's in it? And she says, so like I just wrung out a gym towel. So it's got the sweat of a gym towel. It's got water from the River Tay. It's got chicken, brown rice, broccoli, and some deep heat. So anyway, right. So she starts rubbing that into your back.
Right.
And then there's some silence. And then she goes, as she's rubbing, like with the rhythm of her hands, she goes, sore back, go away, stay away, go away, spine, heel, happy spine, flexy spine. And then she just keeps repeating it and getting louder and louder and louder. How do you proceed?
I think at this stage, I would go with that. Yeah. I would try it.
What happens if it does absolutely nothing for your back?
The placebo effect. I think that'd be a great placebo. There's a lot going on there.
Right, okay.
There's a lot of different ingredients.
Right. There is a lot. There's a lot, yeah. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
Right, next one.
Wait, I've got one for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
A little bit more simple. But, okay, so I've got a few. Okay. So you've been seeing this guy for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But you've never, like, you're bringing him home for dinner with your family.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, then your mum's like, oh, here's whatever you're having for dinner. Let's say it's like sausages and mash. Okay, is that something you would have?
Veggie sausages?
Veggie, yeah, Linda McCartney sausages and mash.
Okay.
Mash. But you don't realise this, but he can only eat with 2 forks. Is that a deal breaker? In front of your family?
So he comes round to my house and he
comes down to your 2 forks.
Yeah, that's 100% a deal breaker. Like I would have to surely
it's actually a real life listener question.
Oh yeah, that's a deal. Like what age is this man? I'm going to assume he's in his 30s. How can you
40s, low 40s.
How can you get to that age and never learn how to hold a knife and fork properly? So I assume like has he got him like double fisted?
Well, like, as the person was telling me, so I was like, I kind of want to try. Like, how would you do the sausage? You just have to like rip it. I think you could probably do two.
That's like a pulled.
Why are you doing?
I'm just trying to imagine. It's like he's like doing a pulled pork type effect with the.
Oh, okay, yeah, shredding all the food. I mean, I didn't get into that much detail. She just said she went out for a meal and he ate with 2 forks.
Not total deal breaker. Like
elephant in like, do you say, oh, that's a new? I've not seen that technique.
I mean, if everything else on the date was absolutely perfect, like he was so nice and intelligent and wonderful, and the only thing that he did wrong was the forks, I wouldn't mention it on the first date. I would wait until the second date, but I would definitely mention it, and I would find a way to like help him, like, teach him how to use a knife, and I definitely wouldn't take him to my family because my family would 100% say something to me about it. I can imagine my mum being like, so the forks.
Nice guy, but what about the forks?
Yeah.
So yeah, that actually happened.
That's crazy. Right. Okay. Next one. You have been seeing her for a while, and you're in love.
Standard start. But yeah, go ahead.
And she admits that she masturbates to your podcast. She's like, sometimes when like we're not
what with you on as well?
Well, here. So that's what I hoped you would say. I hoped you would ask which particular podcast. So she's like, of course not. It's not the ones with Shona. That would be weird. It's the ones just with you, and I particularly like the ones where you're talking about like saying sciencey words and stuff. Like I just pop synthesis. Is that a deal breaker if she admits that she like just listens? She doesn't even really listen to what you're saying, and she totally isn't educated on nutrition. She just loves hearing your voice.
Like the words.
I just like, yeah, she says that. I just like the words. Like, oh, see the episode why you might not need to drop your calories. Oh,
that's my favorite. Yeah, I'd find that a bit weird. I'm gonna say no.
Okay, it's a deal breaker. But the hunger cues and body's needs just got me really going.
Have you currently got the podcast up?
Yeah. Like reading the names.
Oh,
right. Okay, you have one for me, and then I'll give you one more.
Okay, hold on. Wait, I have another one from a listener.
Oh.
Okay, you've been dating this person 6-ish months, so quite a long time. Right. No, wait, this is a different one. Hold on, 6-ish weeks, so not quite a long time.
Right.
Okay, you're in the scene, right? 6 weeks, things going quite well, but he seems quite like intense, almost like it's been easy, but you've fallen into a relationship really quickly. But then you're like, should it be easy? Is this what love should be? Really easy? But anyway. That is the situation you're in, okay? And then he adds all of your friends, all of them on Facebook, like everyone that. I think this scenario was before. I don't know about you, but I don't really use Facebook anymore, apart from for Commit to 6. Mm-hmm. But remember when everyone used to comment on each other's stuff and all that? Mm-hmm. That scenario, and anytime people have commented, he just adds them all.
That's awful. The absolute deal breaker. Did that happen to someone? Yeah, that's
weird, right?
That's really controlling. It's like literally, if she was a lamppost and he was a dog, he'd piss on her. That's what's happening there. He's so like,
weird. And then you're like, if you break up and they're still
No, that
but
would
then also, what do you say? Like, hi, can you stop adding all my friends? Well, yeah, probably that's what you have to say.
I don't even think I'd give him time to give an explanation, because there's only one reason why he was doing that, and that's because he's like a controlling asshole. So I would just instantly break up with him. Just be like, we're over, blocked. Blocked. Bye.
Delete. Okay.
Easy. Deal breaker. Right. I feel like there's a difference in mine versus yours.
Well, these are actually 2 that were sent in.
No, I know, as in yours are like sensible and mine are ridiculous. So far you've had someone wank into your voice and a witch. Right. So last one is, it's your wedding day. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And
the thought of having a wedding gives me such bad anxiety, but continue.
Okay. Well, you've got a humanist celebrant. So the person who marries you it's like a humanist.
Are you having a humanist?
Yes.
Lovely.
And it's not. Oh, by the way, did I tell you I've postponed my wedding for 2 years?
Oh, no, you didn't.
Listeners of the Up Close and Personal Trainer podcast, the latest victim of coronavirus was my wedding.
Oh,
it's okay. It's fine.
Why did it have to be 2? Could it not have been 1?
To be honest, like, I think this whole thing has made me realize how I had just had wedding fatigue, and I was like, I'm actually so bored of thinking and planning this. I need to give myself a whole year off not thinking about it, and then maybe I'll be excited about it again. Because I think if I planned it for a year, I would just be like, ugh, like I probably wouldn't be that excited about it.
Yeah, I also think next year we'll have so many weddings, because it's like anyone who was going to get married next year, and then anyone who was going to get married this year, probably all trying to get married that year. So I think good choice. Well done.
Thank you. Anyway, so it's your wedding day.
Okay, yeah, right. Back to me. Thank you.
Your wedding day, and you're also getting married the same month as me in 2 years' time. So how exciting! Maybe you'll meet her soon. Right. So you've got a humanist celebrant, and when you have a humanist celebrant, you have to well, the way that you've done it with your humanist celebrant is that you've decided to both write a speech as your vows. So you've written this speech, and it's so you spent months writing it. It's kind of funny, but it's also really romantic.
PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, yeah,
dream.
Yeah. Oh, you love a PowerPoint presentation, don't you?
Yeah.
Click, click. So yeah, there's just so much, and it's the most romantic. And the whole congregation is crying, right? Everyone's crying. They're like, "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life." And then it's her turn, and she pulls out a little bit of paper, but it's all crumpled and stuff, and she shakes it out, and she goes, "My wife is called Emma. She's so hot she makes me tremor. She makes me thirsty and gives me phlegma. Just like Nelly, I have a dilemma. On our honeymoon, we'll go to Vienna." And then folds it up and puts it back in her pocket.
Wait, so we're already married at this point?
No, they've not. These are the vows. These are the vows. So
at wedding, can you be like, "Oh, can we just have a quick time out, just to reassess the situation here?"
So would you be really hurt by that? She's literally.
I don't know. I think it's. I guess this is not the same, but kind of similar to things like giving gifts. Like your first Christmas together with someone, or maybe your first birthdays are easier.
Yeah.
Because if you always want theirs to be first, so you can be like, okay, that's the kind of level we're going with. Great. Yeah. Or if it's Christmas that comes up though,
Ooh,
and they're like, "Oh, I bought you all this amazing stuff," and you're like, "I thought it was funny to buy you this mug that says every day I'm bristling." And they're like, "Okay, I spent £500 on you," and I'm like, "But the mug is so cute."
Was that given to you by an ex?
No, but just by a friend.
Oh, okay. So yeah, would you do the tea hands and be like, time out, and then be like, I'm having second thoughts about this marriage? Or would you get married?
I don't know. I think I would hope that I would know the person well enough. I don't feel like your wedding day is a test of. I mean, it'd be a little bit embarrassing. I would more be embarrassed to be the person who had written the shit speech / really great poem. Thank you.
I will send you that poem. Or if you want, we can put the poem in the description box so that you can.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. Yeah.
But literally, she spent the same amount of time as me writing that poem, which was about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think I'd be slightly hurt by that.
Yeah. Deal breaker. Right? Do you have any for me? Any more? Or shall we move on to the professions?
Okay, I've got one for you.
Okay.
So you're getting on really well with this guy, really attractive, whatever. And when he every time you hug, you can sort of tell that he's like sniffing your hair a little bit, right? But then it starts getting and obviously the first time he does it, it's just a little can you hear that? But then towards when he starts opening up a little bit and you've been dating a couple of weeks, he's like every time you hug. What? Is that a deal breaker?
Just very no, not yet.
That's it.
All right.
That's it. Is that not? Wouldn't you find that so creepy? Like every time.
Right. So I'd probably laugh, right? I'd be like, why are you sniffing me? Okay, let's act it out.
You'd be like, I just really like it.
Like, what is it? Like, what do you like? Is it the smell of my hair or like
everything?
I
just want to breathe you in. I don't know why he talks like that.
He talks like Batman.
Everything.
Do you know, like things like that? I think I'm into because, right? Hear me out. I am so attracted to people that are really attracted
nostrils.
No. Like, see if someone like I would probably only fancy someone if I knew for a fact they fancied me. Like, I don't think I could ever fancy someone if I didn't know, I was sure that they didn't fancy me. So if someone was like,
really,
yeah, that's
a really good attribute to have.
Yeah, I think it's like a self-preservation thing. I don't know, but
yeah. Oh, that could be an evolutionary self-preservation thing.
Yeah. So if someone was like really, I would have to make sure that wasn't everyone's head and it was just my head. And if he was like hugging his friends and he was like going and sniffing his friends, I'd be like that's
what
weird.
if like you introduced him to one of your friends and he would like kiss them on the cheek and just had you notice a quick and you're like, that's where it starts.
See, when people kiss you when they first meet, that's too much. That's too full on.
What, a kiss on the cheek?
Yeah, that's too much.
Well, how did you enjoy France? You didn't meet many people due to the circumstance.
Yeah. Well, if he only sniffed my head and he was so into my head smell, then yeah, I'm into it. It would just be our little thing.
I think it's a fetish with everyone.
Is it? Okay, I'm not into it then. My head and my head alone. Okay? Okay? Stop sniffing my friends' heads. Brian. Right, okay.
Moving on.
Right, moving on. Would you date this profession? It's a new feature on the Up Close and Personal Trainer podcast. We've touched on it a couple of times. I think we touched on it once in an episode where we were discussing whether you would date a bodybuilder, and we both came out with a resounding hell no, didn't we?
And then there was the candlestick maker. Again, probably a no. And then anyone who's like mega into MLM schemes, like distributors.
Even like they could be a little bit into it.
Anyone who's even slightly into it.
It's a no from me, dog. Right. Okay, so
imagine that, like your partner was like, oh my god, maybe that's why this guy was adding everyone on Facebook, so then he could be like, I'm an airborne distributor, and then he was trying to sell them, what is it, just skincare stuff, moisturizer and stuff.
Airborne.
Or is that how you say it? I think I said airborne.
Airborne. That's coronavirus. Arbonne is I think it's like you can get supplements, you can get like everything, you can get skincare, protein powder, weight loss.
Can you? Oh yeah. Wow.
Just one thing that I noticed that Arbonne people, I'm saying airborne now, Arbonne people are doing is like making Facebook groups called things like Shona's Health and Fitness Club. And people will join because obviously everyone wants to be in a health and fitness club, and then you notice that actually it's just her punting her shite products. Yeah, it's happened to me a couple of times and it won't happen to me again.
Do you know what, I almost find it offensive now when people are like, hi, would you like to make some more income at home? I'm like, no, get out of my DMs. Yeah,
without having to lie to people.
About having to lie to people or harass all of my friends to try and buy shitty products.
Yeah, I know, it's the worst.
It is the absolute worst when it's a personal trainer, I think.
Oh yeah,
Should know better.
Right.
But also it's like lying to all of your clients. But yes, come on, I'm
let's
ready.
do some professions, right? So we've agreed that no bodybuilders, no MLM distributors. Right, ready? UFC fighter.
No.
Why?
I didn't really like fights.
No.
No, and also I wouldn't want to see them getting beaten up. Also, if it was a girl, that was quite terrifying. But anyone violent, no.
What about like Ronda Rousey?
No.
No.
She doesn't arouse me.
Ronda, not a Rousey.
Would you?
No, it's not really a body type that I go for either. Like I'm just thinking about the male UFC fighters, and they've all got like, I can't stop thinking about what's his name who does that with his arms. Like, you know, the really famous one. Who's the most famous UFC fighter ever? The wee guy from Ireland. Come on,
yeah.
Emma. What's his name?
Yeah, I know who you
Conor
mean.
McGregor. McGregor, right?
That's it.
He does this.
Does he?
Yeah, he does that with his arms, right? And I don't think, look, UFC fighters are really lean. I'm not really into that. They all have like no legs, and they're kind of like buff upper bodies. I like big legs. I don't know. And it's a really violent sport. It just seems really bloody. Ugh. Also,
like they all get head injuries and stuff, and I'm sure like down the line it's not going to be a good thing.
No. I used to work in Exercise for Less. Do you have an Exercise for Less?
Congratulations.
Congratulations for getting out of that place.
Yeah, we do have one here.
Right, so does yours have a UFC ring or an MMA ring?
Yeah.
I think that's why they're popular.
So random.
I think because it's one of the only high street gyms that has one. But anyway, ours did. And it was constantly being used. Like we'd have loads of members that were just there for the MMA. And it's super homoerotic. Like they're like...
Yeah, even when you see, what is it? Jiu-jitsu. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you need to be like... I don't know. Basically, there's one hold I always see, and it's like someone grabbing on someone's leg, but then like basically humping that leg.
Yeah.
It is very, and sometimes it's quite slow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they can be in a 69 position, like someone's literally teabagging someone else, and they're there for about a minute. And you're like, this is the middle of the gym, guys.
It's like, you can tap out. No, I'm fine here. I'm still fine. I'm still fighting.
Oh, yes. It's not...
Okay, so it's a no because 1, we don't like violence. 2, quite homoerotic. 3, you might get head injuries.
Yeah.
4, we don't want to see you get beat up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Right. Next up, a former priest.
Oh, former.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be able to date a priest because, like, they don't take like a vow of celibacy.
But then, since he's a former priest, do you get priestesses, or is it just a priest?
Yeah, you must do because, like, or like, what about the vicar? The vicar of Dibley, she was a woman.
Okay.
What about a vicar? Okay, let's do this first, right? A current vicar, would you date?
No.
Why?
I couldn't get, like, I don't think I could have good conversations with someone who was that religious. Because a lot of science contradicts religion.
Right. Okay. What about a former priest then?
Depends why they were former. If they were former because they were like, I just felt like I wanted to move away from religion. Maybe.
What if you found out they were like a disgraced former priest?
Disgraced for what?
Well, that's the question.
Oh, so my grandma used to live in this really little village, and the most exciting thing that happened, and to be fair, this is quite exciting, her next door neighbour, and I don't know if I'm going to get this the right way round. Yeah, so it was a gay couple, and one of them was like the priest of the local church, which is very forward thinking for a small town in Cornwall.
Yeah.
But then the priest decided he wanted to become a woman.
Right.
Got a sex change, and then now her husband left him because he's gay. That's weird, isn't it?
Okay, so wait.
Right, so like, let's take away the priest bit. Like, the priest bit was just interesting because you're allowing a gay priest, but also now a transgender priest, which is probably quite.
So it was two men,
Two men,
and then
one of them was a priest, and then the priest decided, I want to have a sex change.
But then
and now is a woman.
now they're a woman, so they're not in a gay relationship anymore.
Yeah, and I think the man was like, well, I'm gay.
Oh, that's actually, see, when you think of it, quite a sad story, isn't it?
It is sad. And then you kind of think, well, if you loved the person, would it matter?
I know, but yeah, like you do hear about couples like started out straight couples, man and woman, the man goes through like transitions, and the woman stays with them, and it must be very difficult, because obviously when you sign up to be in a relationship with someone, obviously you love them as a person, but you also love the way they look, and there is that, like,
yeah, I think there would be probably quite a big change in the way they acted as well.
Yeah, like, so to an element their personality might change as well.
And as much as we don't like to think there are like gender roles, or we're trying to, like, people are trying to move away from that, there kind of are. Yeah. Like in relationships there normally is, like, the man has a certain role and the woman does, and it doesn't have to be as strict as like maybe what it was 100 years ago, and I think things are improving, but it would still, I don't even mean like stuff you do around the house, I just mean like the relationship that you would have with the man, like I think it would change if they became a woman.
Yeah. But a priest, no.
What was the question? Would I date a priest?
We're so bad for that. Right. Yeah. Next one, a private investigator.
Oh, yeah. Although they would probably be like, can't talk about my work, babe.
Oh, that would really annoy me.
Something so interesting happened at work. Can't tell you. Disclosed information. Do you know what I wouldn't like? If they were like totally like that, like, yeah, I mean, I would tell you, but it's top secret. I'm really important. I'd be like, oh.
They're just winding you up. They know the information. Like, oh, something really juicy happened at work today, but I can't tell you, sorry.
Sorry. I'd be like, yeah, actually, client told me something, but, you know, client confidentiality.
Would you ever worry that they were, like, investigating you?
What, and they'd gone to the extent of, like, marrying me or something?
Yeah.
You know what? I probably would. I mean, at the start, I'd probably be like, but also, I don't think I'm that interesting to investigate. Like, there's not really a whole lot.
Dig some dirt up on you. They'll
like, if you want to investigate me, maybe just, you know, listen to a few podcasts, go on my story, probably see most of what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Final one, a lollipop lady.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I think lollipop ladies are like up there with some of the nicest people in the world.
Well, you do get grumpy ones, but like the one I had at school was just like buzzing.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think weirdly, possibly she didn't get paid. Like,
no, she must have.
It's like a voluntary thing.
No, I think it's definitely like,
you just started doing that, like, buy yourself a big stick.
Right, here's another element to the deal breaker, right? So you're going out with this lollipop lady, and then you discover after 6 months that she does it for free. Is that
this is the reason why I would be like, I just wonder why.
But I just love the kids, and it brings me so much joy.
That might be the thing. I'd be a bit like, how much do you love the kids?
I love road safety. I'm passionate about road safety.
One of the things I'm really passionate about.
Do you know another benefit of going out with a lollipop lady is that they get loads of presents at Christmas? Like, I don't know if you had, like, my lollipop lady when I was at primary school, everyone brought her gifts.
Really?
Yeah, Joyce, yeah, brought her loads of gifts. So that would be another benefit. So you get loads of like candles and sweeties and chocolate and stuff.
That would be quite cute.
Yeah. So yeah, lollipop lady, strong, yes.
Yeah.
As long as they were paid.
Yeah, well, also, I think I quite like someone with a bit of drive. So if that's all they ever wanted to do and they didn't have like another job or ambition, maybe they would want to, like, even if they wanted to start their own lollipop lady school or something, that would be ambitious. I would like that.
How long do you think it takes to train as a lollipop lady? Years.
Years.
6 years at least.
Full diploma.
Day one, holding the stick.
Graduated with honours.
Now, we're being pretty condescending here. I think being a lollipop lady, obviously, you need quick reflexes. Not just everyone can do it. You need to be able to like jump. Do they have?
You need to be assertive. You have to, and to be fair, you're putting your life on the line.
You are, yeah. So actually,
those cars don't stop.
Very brave.
Yeah.
Lollipop
I wonder how many times a lollipop lady has been injured.
Let's look up on PubMed.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was the joyous podcast.
That was joy. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, if anyone, first of all, wants to tell us where they're listening from, maybe you're listening from South Korea, maybe you're listening from, I'm thinking of other countries. Alaska, maybe you're listening from the North Pole. Let us know where you're from.
That would be cool.
That would be amazing.
Okay. Well, we will listen. We will hear from you. You will hear from us next week. Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, and keep sending in your listener questions. Keep sending in your dilemmas, your dating dilemmas, and anything like that. Okay, love you. Bye.